It is Tuesday, March 16, 2021. We have taken the show on the road to our gorgeous Marriott Hotel in Florida. PGA Tour live for me this week. But for you, it's still the early edge. It's still powered by SportsLine. We still came off yet another winning night, 5-3, red-hot start, kind of stumbled to the finish line. But we had a winner in our perfect parlay contest thanks to you-know-who, excuse me, the Maestro. So Steve S. Book 22, you, sir, because the Maestro went 2-0 in his picks last night, win a year-long subscription to SportsLine. Our man, the jeweler, will contact you on Twitter and let you know how you can do that. All right, let's bring in our cappers right now. And boy, they are fired up. It is bracket week here at CBS at SportsLine. Right below me, he's so fired up, he's looking at games for tomorrow, today. M Squared, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. A little rough night for me as I stumbled across the finish line for us last night, but ready to go today. I got a couple plays that I absolutely love, including one for tomorrow because I was so excited.
Hey, we love futures here, and that's technically a future. All right, right above me, you know the man. He is the Zack Attack. He's the one who cast North Texas for the future last week. But, Zach, we have a little contest between you and the Maestro this week. How do you feel about it?
Well, I saw the comments. They're mainly leaning Larry. That's okay, but we'll see how that goes. I like both teams, so I'm rooting for both. But yesterday, 2-1, Coach. I thought I had it with Joe Harris. He hit a 3 right before being subbed out late third. That really cost me. But the one in the fourth quarter, he started up. He missed both 3-pointers, then hit that last shot with 4 minutes left.
You know, I wasn't going to tell the story, but I'm going to tell it very quickly. I was on a flight last night, and so I didn't have the rundown in front of me. So I knew we had a Joe Harris bet, so I put it in as I was on the plane for the over 12.5 points because I thought it was the over, and it was the under. But I hit the over, so I was actually happy that Joe Harris hit that, even though we lost on the show. I don't know how I did that. I was like, no, we didn't give an under out, did we? And you did. You did. That's okay. So I actually won, but I know you're not happy. Maestro, you're going head up against our man Zack Attack with your futures pick on the show. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I really just want one of us to win it. I don't want it to go chalk. I want it to be either Texas or Bama in that region, so let's do it.
All right. If you're wondering what we're talking about, go to our YouTube page. And Maestro has Alabama, and Zach has Texas.
Opposite.
Yeah. Sorry. Say those two names again. I'm getting all confused. Who do you have?
I got Texas plus 850.
There you go.
And Zach has Bama. What was the number at that?
I think
plus 400.
Plus 400. All right.
Plus 400.
So you tell us in the comment page at YouTube who you're rolling with. And if you win, you'll be eligible to win a year-long subscription to SportsLine. All right, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at SportsLine and what they're doing for bracket week. You get every pick, every play, every upset, everything to fill out your bracket with some of the best analysts in the business. This model that we're talking about, well, last year it beat almost all of the other brackets, over 90% of the brackets the last time we had the tournament, which was 2 years ago. Isn't it great, guys, to have the tournament back this week? I say yes. All right, it's time now for our storylines that could affect the betting lines today. M Squared, let's start with you.
All right, Coach, a lot of news here. Starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going to be very thin tonight on the road at Chicago. Al Horford has already been ruled out. Darius Blazley is out. Lou Dort is questionable for them. George Hill remains out for them. So they're very thin tonight as they take on the Bulls on the road. For the Houston Rockets, they continue to have a lot of trouble. John Wall is ruled out for this game. Christian Wood still doubtful. Daniel House potentially could return, but PJ Tucker and David Nwaba are both still out in that game. For the Hawks, Clint Capella is out. That's something to watch as that'll have an impact on John Collins in both daily fantasy and in player props. For the Miami Heat, looks like they will finally welcome Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero back. They should be close to full strength tonight as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then for the Lakers, second night of a back-to-back, same guys are still out. Anthony Davis, Alex Caruso, Marc Gasol will all miss tonight's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Boy, the Lakers sure played good last night, though, so they're starting to figure things out without Anthony Davis in the lineup. All right, there are so many different events going on this week. Not just the NCAA tournament, also the NIT. Zach, I know you're on this. You got a storyline from the NIT. What do you got?
Yeah, big one, Coach. Yesterday, I was looking at the lines for the NIT. Richmond was a -1.5 point favorite. This morning, it's flipped to Toledo -2, and it has to do with Richmond, the end of the year, with 3 straight losses and injuries. Blake Francis, their leading point guard, he was already out last game, and Grant Golden, their senior forward, he's playing through a fractured finger. It's looking like both are questionable. It will be game time decisions, so that's why we're seeing that line movement.
Yeah, and Coach, I'm looking at a storyline in the NCAA tournament where Virginia, most of the team is going to be in quarantine until Thursday. They're not going to practice till Thursday. Their game, fortunately for them, is Saturday, not Friday, against Ohio. But we've seen this line crater. Opened some books at 10.5, all the way down to 7.5 now for Virginia. And, Ohio's got an amazing player, Jason Preston. This guard, he took over the MAC tournament. He's shooting lights out. He does it all. I'm probably going to get on it. I wish I had jumped on it a lot earlier.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of tweets from people that are concerned because if they pick a team and then COVID hits them, what happens? Well, it's just part of the tournament this year that once it starts, then your pick is what it is. So you're just going to have to bite the bullet, so to speak, if your team gets hit with COVID. Also, we want to remind you that we're still doing our Apple Podcast giveaway this week. Go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. In that review, tell us who you think is going to win in the NCAA tournament. If you are eligible and you leave that 5-star review and your Twitter handle, then coming up on Monday after the NCAA tournament, we're going to give away 5 year-long subscriptions to SportsLine. And all of you who have won already, thank you for saying thank you. But also, you're starting to feel what SportsLine can do for you with the simulations. Tell your friends. We're creating this incredible community. Okay, it is time for our plays of the day. And I'm going to start with our SportsLine play of the day. And we're going to the NHL. Penguins only laying -115 over the Bruins. 7 Eastern puck drop. Now, the Pens in our simulations at SportsLine cover 63% of the time. They're on a 5-0 run. The Bruins are really struggling right now with Tuukka Rask in net. Take the Penguins. It's a graded A play on SportsLine all the way to the pay window. All right, M-Squared, you know the drill. Give it to me.
All right, Coach, we're going to start with Toledo, the game Zach mentioned there with all the line movement here. I want you to jump on that one as quickly as you can. You can still grab it at -1.5 in a few places in the market. It will most definitely be -2 basically by the time we're done recording here. I expect this game to close all the way to -3 or more tomorrow, especially if we get any additional news on Grant Golden. I cannot overstate his importance to that team. Even if he is playing and not at full strength, he is incredibly important to this Richmond team. Already without Blake Francis, as Zach said there, I love this spot for Toledo. Toledo was the best team in the MAC. You look, I believe they were 20-9 against the spread this year, won 21 basketball games. It's really a shame that they're not in the NCAA tournament, but that's the way it works with conference play. So I would jump on them here as I love them over Richmond. And then in the NBA, going back to the Philadelphia 76ers, they are still without Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is back. Tobias Harris is healthy. They get the New York Knicks. The Knicks are on the second night of a back-to-back after a tough loss against the Brooklyn Nets last night. This game opened at -7.5. We are getting it back to -6.5. It's slowly moving to -7. I expect it to close around -7.5 where they had it when it opened. I think some of that is speculation that Derrick Rose could potentially return from the health and safety protocols tonight. However, I don't expect him to play massive minutes if he does return in this first game back here. So give me the Philadelphia 76ers -6.5. I make it -8.1 in my simulations. I think this is a really, really, really good spot for them to catch the Knicks on the second night of a back-to-back.
You bring up a great point. A lot of people think when Joel Embiid is out that they are a much worse team, but they figure out a way to get it done. And when he's in or when he's out, they are still a pretty good team. Real quick, I need to correct something before I forget. I said Tuukka Rask with him in the net. I meant to say without him in the net. He is not playing goalie for the Bruins right now, hence why they are struggling. My apologies. All right, Zach Attack, what do you got for us today, pal?
3 plays, Coach. We'll start off in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls -5.5 against the Thunder. The Thunder, they're banged up, and they'll also be without Al Horford due to rest. And I think that's a problem due to Chicago having a plethora of big men that are talented. And there's also revenge here. The Bulls earlier this year. They had an 18-point halftime lead against the Oklahoma City Thunder, blew it and lost in overtime. I think they'll have a well-rounded game tonight and cruise over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then 2 player props, Jaylen Brown over 25.5 total rebounds or total points and assists. Brown, he's more than capable of eclipsing this mark in points alone. He scored 33 points against the Jazz earlier this year, but I want the assists because he's coming off a game with 0 assists against the Houston Rockets. That snapped a 10-game streak of having an assist. And also that game I mentioned against the Jazz earlier this year, he had 0 assists. So I think he comes in this game with a mindset of facilitating the basketball and also will have a well-rounded game with points and assists. And then last in the same game, Bojan Bogdanovic over 14.5 total points. He's coming off the All-Star break, struggling 3 of 13 from three-point range, just 23%. He scored just 9 points in his last game. That also snapped the streak of 8 straight games in double figures. I think he bounces back tonight and gets his typical 2 to 3 trips to the free throw line.
These player props, they make me think back to last night when you separated Richaun Holmes with his points and rebounds, and it was a brilliant move by you, but both went way over the total thanks to you. So I'm looking forward to playing these player props with you again tonight. All right, Maestro, bring it to us. Let's go.
All right. Well, we're going to be heavily involved in that one game because I'm on the Celtics plus the points against Utah. Originally, you could have gotten 5. Now it's down to 4.5, 4. I got 4.5 officially on SportsLine. The Celtics team is a good team at home, 12-5 on the season, 5 straight home wins. They've beaten the Nuggets and the Clippers at home, among some other teams that aren't as good. And here's the key. They played in Houston a couple nights ago. Tatum, Brown, Walker, nobody played more than 28 minutes. They're fully ready for this game. You got a Utah team that's unbelievable, but last 2 games, 31 combined turnovers. Marcus Smart is back for Boston. They just have a lot of good trends and omens at home as a dog under Brad Stevens. So I'm on Boston. And in that game, Jordan Clarkson over 3.5 rebounds. You know, he's had like 6, 6, 5, 5. And there was one game in there where he had 2. Again, that was against the Rockets. He only played 20 minutes, but he has been going over this with regularity. Jordan Clarkson over 3.5 rebounds.
I marvel at the ability of you 3 to find these little nuggets and these little pockets where there is value. It's astounding to me a lot of the time. All right, we are up against it. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here we go. It's time for the recap. We start with M squared. He likes Toledo. That game is tomorrow against Richmond in the NIT, -1.5. Jump on it right now as the line is moving away from us. Sixers -6.5, getting the Knicks on the back end of a back-to-back. The Knicks played a hard-fought game last night against the Nets. Then Zack Attack. He likes the Bulls -5.5. They've been really good the last month. Not a lot of people are talking about Chicago, but they're playing really good basketball. And then a couple of player props. Jaylen Brown over 25.5 combined points and assists. And then Bojan Bogdanovic over 14.5 points. Then finally, the Maestro. He's on the Celtics plus 4.5 against the Jazz tonight. And then a player prop, Jordan Clarkson, over 3.5 rebounds. And our SportsLine play of the day in the NHL, it's the Penguins -115. Real quick, we have another episode of the Early Edge, Kicking It with Tom episode that is in your feed right now. We recorded it yesterday. There are 2 Champions League games today and 2 tomorrow that we have plays on. Today, Real Madrid, Atalanta under 2.5 goals, and then Man City team total over 2.5 goals as Tom Fernelli score a lot. So there's 2 additional plays for you as well. You've got your marching orders. Feel good about today. I feel good about today. Let's take every single ticket straight to the pay window. For M squared, for Zack Attack, for the Maestro, for the jeweler, I am the coach. It doesn't matter if we go on the road or we stay at home. We're always cashing tickets. Remember, this is the only place for your daily Early Edge. Good luck.